And we're back with more adventures of the Flash, apparently. The Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
And he's not flashing. He's showing off. Where'd you get that shirt?
Amazon.com.
Oh, okay.
Where does anyone get anything these days?
I got 2 shirts coming. And this will segue, I think, into our topic. I got 2 shirts coming. Like one of these on Facebook, you'll see these ads pop up with like different ads. And this was an ad for like these. They make these obscure reference tees, like pop tees or something.
Oh, yeah,
like that.
yeah, sure.
And so I got one that's coming that's WKRP in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is OCP. Omni Consumer Products.
Yeah.
From RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop.
So
yeah.
I got that. I'm sure we could hear any day now. But I can't wait to wear my WKRP shirt.
I
Can't
think
wait.
Pop Funk is one of the sites there within Amazon that has a lot of that kind of pop culture stuff.
There's a website called like Pop Tees or something. I think it was called Pop Tees. Anyway, as I think we might talk about the show, WKRP is one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm even a member of a WKRP fan group.
Cool.
I fucking love that show. I love that show. I still watch it now. I still like it. Like I've got it. I got it like a.
Oh yeah,
I got the original, like where they didn't cut the music out for copyright reasons. They got the original ones. I just love that show. It's fantastic. But speaking of things that are gone and no longer here, but part of our cultural past, as it were, Blockbuster Video. We were reminiscing about Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
And we actually had some pretty interesting points that might actually be show-worthy. Well, they really stop us if it isn't. We just tend to do shows about what we want to do anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well.
So it's free for us to do. What do we care? So Blockbuster Video. Do you miss it?
Part of me, yeah, sure. Just
do you really?
Yeah, nostalgia. The experience of going into a store and just going up the aisle and like taking the box and reading the back of it. And finding films, that was an activity that I did for at least 2 decades out of my life, and now that's of course gone, so you do kind of miss it.
Yeah,
that's how we found movies back in the day.
Well, see, I get the same satisfaction of going to Netflix or Prime or any of them and putting them on my watch list. I get a similar satisfaction. I probably spend more time putting things in the watch list than actually watching the shows. Kid you not.
Well, I will spend 30 minutes to an hour going through looking for deals / things to put in the watch list. So I will put some time into it for sure.
Yeah,
that's become a normal occurrence.
I was never that big on Blockbuster, to be honest with you. We did when I lived in McGregor. There was a little movie store there. It's called the Movie Store. So we would do it. It was right there. And then we would do Hollywood Video. Right? It was Hollywood Video?
Yeah, there was a Hollywood Video.
We would go to Hollywood Video when we didn't go to the movie store. But Blockbuster I never really got into. It always seemed like every time I went, they didn't have what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't bother. But I think you went to Blockbuster more than I did.
Yeah, the local Blockbuster, we really had just the one. And because of that, a city our size, we really needed 2, I think. By the time they got a second one, I don't think they ever got a second one.
There was one right there at the corner of Waco Drive and Valley Mills, like right on the corner.
Yeah, that was the one. Right?
And the building, I think, is torn down now. I think they put those little strip things.
And then they moved it, where like Slotsky's.
Yeah, in that area.
There's a Walgreens or CVC somewhere.
Yeah. It was there, and that's where it last was when it went kaput. That's where it was.
Across from Applebee's for you Waco folks.
if you're not from Waco, this whole last
you're like, what?
minute, nobody knows what the hell we're talking about.
What kind of directions are these?
Yeah. And then just to keep the Hollywood Video, there was one where the Twin Liquor is now by Target. And then the other Hollywood Video is where now is an empty auto parts store in Hewitt or Woodway.
Yeah.
Right. I guess it'd be more Woodway.
Yeah. Next to the Jack in the Box.
Yeah, next to Jack in the Box. In fact, we would go to eat at Jack in the Box and walk to the movie store and get movies.
Sure.
We did that all the time.
Yeah.
We did it quite a bit, actually.
I would do the alley-oop, drive through. They were going to go catch a movie, and off I go.
Yeah, I would walk from one to the other. We would park at one and go to the other. I can't remember what we did. But we did something like that. Well, if you're not from here, that means nothing to you. Sorry about that.
We're giving you a tour of Waco, kind of,
for some reason. With Blockbuster, I think you had some interesting things to share about Blockbuster. I was just going to say this: when Blockbuster met its untimely end with the advent of Netflix and streaming and all that kind of stuff, I really didn't feel that bad because I thought they kind of had it coming to them. Because I always hated, and I really didn't. One of the reasons I didn't go there was I knew they did this. They would edit movies on their own. So before take a movie, like there was, I think it was The Whole Nine Yards with Bruce Willis and the guy from Friends. There's a scene in there with a girl is full frontal nude, and Blockbuster obscured the nudity. And so when you rented the movie there, they had obscured that scene. Well, I mean, I'm not, the type of guy that just has to see a naked chick on film. That's not the point. The point is that they made the movie. That's the way they made the movie. The actress, that was how she performed the part.
Right.
Everybody agreed to it. They did it. And it's freedom of expression, and artists should be able to do their art, period. And then you come along and without any input from the creator, just edit however you want to. I felt that was immoral. I thought it was unethical. I thought it was probably, I don't know if it was illegal or not. I don't know, but I thought it goes against everything about the arts and freedom of expression. I thought it was reprehensible that they did that. So when they met their untimely end, I was like, good karma. I'm glad it happened to you. Bye. See ya. I thought they had it coming to them.
Well, Blockbuster Video, they originated out of Dallas, Texas, believe it or not.
He did address that issue.
Well, I'll come back to it.
Oh, okay, good. Let you go avoid
I'm going somewhere.
I thought you were going to avoid the whole.
No. I'm going somewhere with this. Believe it or not.
Okay.
They started in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Family owned, operated.
Oh, they're going to say family friendly. I say family operated is fine.
But they wanted it to be a family friendly store and that franchise. That's what they wanted. Well, they got so big. In studios, they make these deals with the studios, and this just comes back to what you're talking about. The studios knew what Blockbuster was wanting and had questions about certain movies that, in their opinion, went to NC-17 or too hard R rating or whatever. Rather than let the movies just let your rating and let your consumers make up their own mind. What they should have done, but. They had enough influence. They wanted to keep things as family friendly as possible. And that was how they kind of pushed back and made deals with studios to edit movies accordingly for the copies that they got.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just saying that was the reality of what happened. Because they were so big, they were the number one rental place. Studios were willing to make that choice. So yeah, but I hear you.
I thought that's just.
Well, my opinion, you've got the ratings there for a reason. Let the ratings do their job.
Well, the family friendly thing. Let me say that family owned and operated is amazing. I mean, I have a family owned and operated business, so I get that's great. What I'm going to is the family friendly. I've been a dad since the age of 19. All right, I've had a little kid in my house since for 25 years, I've had a little kid in my house. Mm-hmm. Whether it be any of my 3 kids. So I think I can talk when I say this. Just because you have a family doesn't mean you don't want to enjoy all kinds of things. So, I want to see a chainsaw movie where they cut people up, and I want to see, all of that comes with having rated R and NC-17 content and stuff. Just because I have a family doesn't mean I don't make time for myself to enjoy. I've been, I've been a creative professional now for 10 years, and I want to enjoy that part of life too. So I've always felt like family friendly is kind of a bleh, kind of a concept. I mean, yeah, there should be content that's made for general audiences, and that's why you have cartoons and Disney films and stuff. But you need to have these over here because mom and dad like to watch stuff when the kids go to bed too, along with everybody else that doesn't have kids. You know, it's not right. I don't know. Just make the products and let the consumer sort it out.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what the ratings.
That's what they're for anyway.
Yeah, they're there exactly so they can make up their own mind and whatnot. So if an adult wants something that's more edgier, more mature material, they can do that. I know for a fact that at Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, they had sections that literally said family. It was like it was like kids/family, and it was these movies that were more G rated and PG, and this was not edgy stuff. This. Not to say that there wasn't good movies, there. It's just, but it was a different kind of a content.
Sure.
So, but yeah, they went down that road. They did. I can't. That's part of their history, isn't it?
Yeah. But you had some other comments.
Well, I was reading an article very recently about them. I thought it was fascinating. They failed to kind of see the future, to see where it was going. There was almost an arrogance that people would always want physical product, and they'd be okay with leaving their homes and having to drudge all the way back to town and return it.
Yeah.
The idea of returning movies was such a stuck in the craw of consumers. Well, when things started going to streaming and you didn't have to return, so you had to worry about late fees, it really was where the market wanted to go.
Sure.
Blockbuster had an opportunity to go in streaming in 2001 with a very unlikely partner. Unfortunately, that partner was Enron. Months after their discussions, of course, Enron, that scandal broke wide open.
Sure.
So it didn't happen. That deal to partner with Enron to go into a full streaming well ahead of Netflix didn't happen.
Yeah.
And history was changed, and Netflix was able to see the future and make what we know to be the right choice. And Blockbuster continued to just do the same things over and over and over. And they had all these stores. All their money was based on people going to these stores. Well, when people don't show up, your revenue isn't there, and you can't afford your rent anymore.
Sure.
And that's what killed Blockbuster. But anyway, I looked at that, fascinating. They had so many chances. I mean, think of this: 2001. They had so many years to kind of say, okay, we're good now, but let's prepare for the future.
Yeah.
And Hollywood Video apparently at one point was trying to merge with them or whatever, but apparently that deal got shut down by the government because they said it was going to be a monopoly at the time.
Okay.
So. But then they started buying these other companies. It's like, what are you doing? That was just other video stores. It's like, well, just buying other video stores is not going to ensure your future.
Right.
You're killing some of your competition, but it's going to catch up with you eventually. And of course, it did.
Yeah. Well, they had pretty predatory late fees, didn't they?
Yeah, the late fees. They were very aggressive with that, and they would change policies and make it kind of confusing. Not user-friendly.
Well, something happened similar in the last couple of years even. And I haven't done any research on it, so this is somewhat off the cuff. And I could be missing some points here, so do your own research. But there was a company came out called Movie Pass. Mm-hmm. And it was an idea I had even said, man, that'd be great if they did this. And they did it.
Yeah.
And Movie Pass was you paid $20 a month. When I first got it, you could go see three movies a month at your participating theater. I think the only exceptions were it couldn't be IMAX or 3D, so no big deal. And then they kept changing it, and then they kept changing it, and they kept changing it, and they kept changing it, and they kept changing it. And you got an email every week, or even more than 1 week that had to change it. So I just canceled it.
Right.
It ended
Same
up being
here.
just an absolute fiasco.
Yeah, same here.
Then maybe not even a year later, the theaters came out with their own, and you could just pay a monthly fee and you could go like as much as you want or 3 times or whatever. And then that seemed to work. So, it's for some reason, like when it comes to entertainment, it seems like there's been real big hiccups trying to like find the right way to like make this all consumer friendly in these changing times. And it's the only ones getting it right seem like to be the streaming ones. The theaters keep getting screwed up. COVID didn't help, of course.
No.
But the theaters kept kind of screwing it up, and then the home rental screwed it up. So it'll be interesting to see if Netflix or Prime, like Prime's putting $1 billion into this Lord of the Rings thing, right? Is that still happening? Is that still?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely
So I mean, one of the things Netflix has made a mistake in is they've supposedly overinvested. They overextended themselves creating some of this content, like the Irishman and stuff. They put out a whole lot of money to make these movies.
Yeah, it was a huge investment they put in.
Yeah, huge investment.
It's like 800, 900 million, something like that.
And then this leads to again, this is somewhat off the cuff. Mulan went to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
and it was like $30 or $35.
It was $30 if you go on their premiere option. Yeah,
for $35, you go watch Mulan like as much as you wanted for a week, a day, 2 days.
I thought it was just a 24-hour thing.
Maybe it's 24 hours, whatever it was. But they also said, but it'll be on the service in December. If you want to watch it now, it's $35. And I'm like, why would I give a crap enough to pay $35 now when it's going to be on your service in December? So there's already some weird hiccups in the streaming world too. They're getting it right. They're getting it more right than wrong.
Right.
But there are some weird little hiccups going on there.
There's no doubt. Well, the weird thing about Blockbuster, to finish a thought.
Yeah.
Blockbuster at the very end, because I always went to Hastings. Hastings Entertainment was my store.
Yeah, I like Hastings better than Blockbuster.
And that was the place I did most.
So it was never sorted. The only problem with Hastings was it was never sorted. It drove me insane. It was not in alphabetical order and stuff like that.
Mm. Well, anyway, that you could get music there as well, but you could gaming stuff. I mean, it really was kind of like the triple threat, and so I went there more than any of the others. So I was sad to see it go. But that said, the last few years, 2 years of Blockbuster, I went more than I'd ever gone because they had worked out this deal that was actually, it's like, if y'all had done that 20 years ago.
What was the deal?
The deal was like, if you brought it was like a 5 days they gave you for every rental in the store, right? But if you brought it back early, you'd get like this credit for like another movie.
Oh yeah.
And that was a thing where like if you did it, I mean, I'd sit there and buy like a new rental, like a brand new movie release.
Yeah.
And I would like bring it back the next day. Well, next thing you know, they're like, well, you can, with your credit, you can get, on the non-new releases, you can get a free one if you want, or half off on your next new release.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good deal, I thought. I mean, to get a free, like an older movies, like me, I don't mind going back and see if there's an older movie that I haven't seen and be interested in. So I was making out like gangbusters the last 2 years with that deal. I've watched so many movies the last 2 years with Blockbuster off that deal. And if they had done that 20 years earlier, I don't know, that they might have stayed around a little longer, maybe long enough to figure out they need to diversify and get into streaming. So anyway, but by the way, there is the last Blockbuster that's in the world is now in Bend, Oregon. And they're trying to do, there's this group of nostalgic seekers trying to arrange with the store a sleepover with this group to spend the night at a Blockbuster store.
Really?
Yeah, they've got it like on
they're
on the internet, like eBay or somewhere or one of those travel sites.
There's a parody account on Twitter called The Last Blockbuster Store that was all time.
Oh wow!
Talk about how lonely they are and like all kinds of stuff. Some Twitter account. I haven't checked on it in a long time, but
Well, they were promoting it as if you wanted to experience the '90s again, come with them to this sleepover there in a Blockbuster store. I thought that was kind of funny.
The Twitter account was now I gotta find it. The Twitter account was like in Alaska, like it was a joke. It was a parody account. It wasn't real. It wasn't real, but it was like there I find the last Blockbuster. Oh, that's not right. That's not it. That's not right. Get back. Last Blockbuster. Now there's a whole bunch of them mimicking it. Man, that sucks. Oh, here it is. This is it. Last Blockbuster. 3rd May, the Oaklawn Shopping Center. Not part of all. We're all our own commentary. I don't know where this is. This can't be real. I think it's a parody account.
If it's Bend, Oregon, that's the last one in the world that's open still.
Like, here's one of their recent tweets. We appreciate the streaming sucks graffiti, but did you have to spray paint on our front windows? So it's pretty much a parody account. Anyway, there's all kind. Anyway, I mean, I miss and I don't. I mean, I love streaming so much. I don't really miss it. Video games are starting to embrace streaming, and that's kind of cool because, video games are way more bigger investment than movies are, and so like Game Pass and then PlayStation Now make it where you can play a whole bunch of games. They offer free games every month that you just download and keep. As long as you have your subscription, you can play it.
Sure.
So video games are shifting to that model slowly. It's a little slower than the movie shift was, but I don't know. I'm kind of happy with streaming. I don't really miss it too much. I think I just miss. I think the thing I miss, there goes the focus thing. Focus, you darn stupid thing. There we go.
There we are.
And I think what I miss is just it gave you something to kind of do, to go to the store, pick up some, maybe get some fast food or go through a drive-through. Just kind of gave you something to do. Now, like there's fewer reasons to leave your house these days, and that's apart from COVID. Even before COVID, there's fewer reasons to leave your house. Which that's the part of it I kind of miss. Is like on Friday night, you don't go to the movies. You don't, I'm not a club guy. I'm not gonna go to bars and clubs. That just ain't my style. So it's one less option now to go and kind of just jack around and do.
Well, yeah, it was nice sometimes. Like you say, you get off work, you want to decompress, but you're not necessarily ready to go all the way home. So you pop in for 15, 20 minutes, store, and grab the movie you're going to watch tonight. And it was just kind of a nice way to kind of wind down. And,
so that's kind of just.
But I am adjusting to this streaming world, I think, pretty nicely. I mean, I like it quite a bit. My video library is rather large now. I think it's
because you buy them still. You buy them?
I'm not going to always buy stuff, but I wanted to buy enough to kind of have a nice little library that I can always go back to. So I've got over 200 titles.
Digital. Man, see, I don't buy them. I just take what the service gets me, and I just watch those. And if they go away, then they just go away. I mean, it's okay. It's cool. It's cool. Don't hit me.
I watch plenty of those too. The free ones that like Amazon Prime, for example, gives you the
only thing happens every once in a while. You and I are more movie buffs than a lot of people. So every once in a while, I'll read an article and get wild hair about some movie that's obscure. I'm gonna go find it, and it won't be available. But other than that, I just take what it gives me.
I have a little list I'll create. Okay, give you some inside baseball here. I have a little list of like movies I'm looking for, and I'll look and look and look. And all summer, I kept looking at this movie. I thought, well, I know it's corny. I even tell you it's a bad movie, but it's a guilty pleasure. And if it's on, I want it. Sure enough, it finally 2 weeks ago, it finally appeared on Amazon for purchase. Megaforce, and I jumped on it. I now own Megaforce, and yes, it's
Megaforce
corny,
is great.
but
One of my favorite lines.
I ate it up. I was so happy over Labor Day watching Megaforce.
One of my favorite lines in all of movie ever is in that movie. You know the line too.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the line?
Well, the good guys. The good
guys always win. Even in the 80s.
Thank you. Sorry.
The good guys always win, even in the 80s.
Yes.
Just like that. It's that even the 80s is what makes it so amazing. Even in the 80s.
Yes. Well, anyhow, it gives you an example of, the benefits of having a video library.
I've heard people make fun of Megaforce. We could probably do a whole show on Megaforce. We won't do that, but right now. But like, people made fun of like Megaforce. Like, movie flipping cute. It's stupid and corny, yes, but it was awesome. It was awesome, though it was stupid.
It's like corny. Bad goodness.
Yes.
If there is such a thing, it's bad goodness. So that's what it is.
Yes, it's like junk food, a junk food movie.
It's like fried stick butter at a carnival. It's not good for you, but my God, you're going to eat it.
Right.
And you're going to like it.
Yeah, and it has a classic line, all the boot.
Yeah.
And it has the hologram cartoon thing that shows up randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
In a meeting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great stuff. Great stuff.
And cool.
I don't even know why the bad guys were bad guys even.
And cool
what were
cars,
they doing? What were they doing? Taking over a country?
Yeah, they invaded a sovereign country. They had invaded and attacked that sovereign country's army. So
I just remember there being a whole bunch of tanks and they blow up like a power thing in the beginning. That's all I really remember.
Well, it's like the bad guys are like
tanks.
They're like invaders for hire or something like that. Yeah, mercenaries. And so Megaforce was sent to beat them back.
And he has the amazing shot where he has the flying motorcycle. The great green screen. The amazing green screen that they did at the end. It's fantastic. Go get Megaforce. Man, Blockbuster has led to Megaforce.
And half the characters were like the 80s aerobics headbands. I mean, so again, cheesy, but
fantastic.
Just bad goodness.
I'm somewhat jealous that you own that movie. All right. Well, speaking of being jealous of things like Megaforce,